New York or nowhere. The city that never sleeps, the Mecca, the New York Mets, the first team to 20 wins. The New York Knicks go for a clincher tonight. And you're watching Mets Daily. I'm your host, Jake Brown, at Jake Brown Radio. Smash that thumbs up right now on the video. Comment below. Are the Knicks winning? Are the Mets winning? Big series in Queens. Mets, Diamondbacks, 3-game set. Potentially a playoff preview. I know it doesn't look like that in the standings right now, but the Diamondbacks were one of my wild card picks. The way the Mets are playing, maybe the Mets win a division, and maybe we see these teams later on. Make sure you follow me at Jake Brown Radio. Follow the show at Mets Daily Show. Let's get right to it. A lot to talk about today. First off, it wasn't Easter. It wasn't the Lord's Day. But Brandon Nimmo has risen. And Nimmo needed that day yesterday. I think everyone was calling for his head, including me, saying, hey, this guy, you got to hit. And it's one game. You know, you don't want to throw a parade. We're hoping to throw a Knicks ticker tape parade, but we're not going to throw a Brandon Nimmo parade for a one-day marathon. Now, it was incredible. 2 homers, 9 RBIs, tied Carlos Delgado. We all remember that game where Delgado was just hitting homers, hitting the ball all over the ballpark. And you saw that from Brandon Nimmo on Monday, and they didn't really need it because everyone was hitting, but we loved it. So he was unhappy his last at-bat. You could tell because he wanted to get the record. Mark Vientos said, hey, I'm going to hit a homer off a 30-mile-an-hour Ahmed Rosario, former Met traded for Francisco Lindor Ephus, and hit a piss missile, and he did. So that's what happens when you face Ahmed Rosario, who's not a pitcher, but position players pitching. We love it. So the New York Jets defeated the Washington Commanders 19-5 at Nationals Park yesterday, the stadium where they don't have straws, which is an absolute atrocity and an embarrassment to mankind. In the nation's capital, you have to have a straw. Who doesn't use a straw to have their drink? But I digress. But this is the lineup. If he's going to hit cleanup, he's got to hit. You can't hit cleanup and not hit. That's not how it works when you hit cleanup. So I know he hit 6 versus lefties. We'll go in the lineup in a little bit. I don't know how he's not in the lineup today. He just had a 9 RBI game. Unless something's lingering or he's banged up or he's gassed, which I get. Why is he not in the lineup the day after having a career day? I'm sure there's something behind that. You know, we'll let Mendoza has the Midas touch so far. He's pushed all the right buttons. But that was fun Monday. Those kind of games are really fun to see. And Vientos homer, Nimmo twice. Alonso didn't have a hit. Soto had 2 hits. By the way, Soto is hot. The weather's getting hot, and Soto is hot. So to everyone who continues to write him off and hate on him, or Yankee fans that come in and hate on him, he's just cooking up. And sure, he might sell your parlay some days. Sure, he may not hit a home run and you bet on him, but he's hitting the ball. And listen, if this guy has an on-base of 400 and he's getting me hits, I don't care if he doesn't hit 40 homers because Pete Alonso's behind him hitting a bunch of homers himself. So, they don't need Soto to be this 40-homer guy to win. They can win without that. Just give me hits. And he's starting to do that. His last week, I think he's hitting 380. He's starting to cook now. And, it's hot in New York this week. You get 2 night games and a day game. He's hitting. Vientos, his last week, is hitting around 380 as well. Vientos is hot. Soto's hot. Alonso's been hot. Lindor's been hot. And now you're getting the bottom of the order in the fold. Francisco Alvarez had a nice day as well yesterday. A lot of people were on the Torrens must start bandwagon without giving Alvarez his chance to come back healthy. And that dynamic duo, we're going to have a nickname for them. For the Giants running backs, we had Earth, Wind, and Fire. We got Sonny and Cher. I know that has nothing to do with sports, but they were a duo. We got Bonnie and Clyde. We got Hove and B. What are Alvy and Torrens? Let me know in the comments. What can we give them as a nickname, a Mets Daily nickname for Alvarez and Torrens, the dynamic duo behind that dish that will lead the Mets to the promised land? I made the same amount of money as Luis Torrens last year. That's a shame. I look homeless right now. Luis Torrens is making $100,000. That is a David Stearns masterclass trading him from the Yankees. Yankees should be more mad that the Mets stole Luis Torrens over Juan Soto. At this point, Luis Torrens was like shopping at Five and Below, where you get a T-shirt that says something funny for $5. That's Luis Torrens. But really, he's turned out to be the Gucci store. So, starting off that second half of the order with those 2 guys are setting the table. We'll go into the lineup in a little bit here, but you're seeing Jeff McNeil, torpedo bat homer yesterday. A lot of people are ready to write off Jeff McNeil, and I've said this on here. I get why you don't like him. Maybe he doesn't fit in this clubhouse. Maybe he's a lunatic when he's not doing well. But when he does well and he's hitting 8th in your order and can play a capable center field, you got to ease the anger towards him because he can produce. We've seen it before. Let's see if it left him or if it's still in him somewhere. So far, he's looked good. That was a nice home run yesterday. He's had a hit every time he's played. If he can play a capable center field, I'm not asking Gold Glove. Mets are in good hands because they're clearly playing Luis Angel Acuna almost every day now, and that's the move. We'll go in the lineup in a bit again, but he's up in the lineup now. These are all good things now, top to bottom of the order. The only negative from yesterday, and we get into our next topic, is Jose Urena. How about giving up 5 runs, winning a game 19-5, and picking up a save? Somewhere Mariano Rivera is shaking his head. He is SMHing that Jose Urena was credited for a save for a performance that still has Frank the Tank's blood pressure through the roof yesterday. I was fine with it because I was comfortable with a 14-run lead. The Jets had a 2-touchdown lead for once on the Commanders. But Jose Urena, he fought for the Mets. I give him credit. The guy ate 3 huge innings. Honestly, he wear one yesterday. His ERA might suck. He might be out of a job today, but teams notice that. This guy's had a good career. He had one bad day. The Mets were up so big it didn't matter. He'll go work on his stuff either with the Mets or if he gets claimed elsewhere. But I think Mets fans will sleep just fine if Jose Urena does not end up making into the minor league. If he's claimed by someone, I like Azakar, who's also playing tonight. I'd rather the Mets lose Urena than Azakar. I think anyone would. So, shout out to Jose Urena. Rough outing, 5 runs, did get a save. Honestly, in the box score, to have that save there, I think it's kind of cool. Like, he could tell his grandchildren, hey, Dad, or Gramps, when was your first save? Oh, this is a great story. So, I gave up 5 runs. We had a 14-run lead. It did affect the team. We won. I got a save, and then I was without a job 12 hours later. That's something to tell your grandchildren about. To replace Jose Urena on the roster, he's DFA'd. Mets put Sean Manaea in the 60-day IL. They call up a guy that you probably haven't heard of, and to be honest, I had not heard of until looking him up. Kevin Herget. Kevin Herget, right-hand pitcher, is called up to replace Jose Urena on the roster. Don't sleep on Kevin Herget, though. This is one of those David Stearns, Jeremy Hefner finds, diamonds in the rough that could be good. Kevin Herget, 1.59 ERA last year, very small sample size, 11 1/3 innings for the Milwaukee Brewers, a team that made the playoffs, by the way, so he's not a winning team. A whip of .79, 9 strikeouts, 11 1/3. So he's not a dominant pitcher, not a strikeout guy. This is a guy started with the Rays, 2022, then the Reds, then the Brewers, 3 years. In AAA this year, he had a 3.72 ERA over 9 2/3 innings. So he probably won't have much usage. Honestly, this could be a one-day move, and the Mets, I expect, have Brandon Jalen Waddle. Probably replace him on the roster tomorrow. The Mets are going to use the lefty as their 6th starter, most likely tomorrow. He's got a 1.59 ERA in AAA. They're going to have Waddell. Can you let us know in the comments below how the hell do we pronounce this guy's name? I didn't have time to look it up. We're in New York for Game 5. Knicks, Detroit. We're in New York City. We're in Manhattan right now. You see the skyline a little bit behind me, a building behind me. In a lovely building here. In the Taj Mahal of the Garden. We are not far from the Mecca where we will see the Knicks win tonight. We're not far from where Kevin Herget will potentially play, 30 minutes away in Queens at Citi Field. And, this could be a one-day move. Waddell, Diamondbacks, a lot of left-handed hitters in the lineup. I expect the Mets to call him up. He is TBA or TBD tomorrow, Senga Thursday afternoon. So Herget, look for him. As the Diamondbacks, there's a whole lot of snakes on this whole lot of mother effing Citi Field. There's no plane. There's no Samuel L. Jackson, but there will be snakes at Citi Field. You would feel like you're in Australia. I hear there's a lot of snakes there. I've never been. But the Diamondbacks come to Queens. I think this could be a playoff preview. I think the Diamondbacks are better than this right now. They're also without Ketel Marte, who is the face of their franchise. Eugenio Suarez is just hitting balls far. Lourdes Gurriel is hitting balls far. This is a good Diamondbacks team, and as you see on the screen below, and of course, this is Mets Daily, Jake Brown. A couple more minutes here before we wrap up the show. Subscribe, smash that thumbs up, comment at Mets Daily Show, share the channel with your family and friends. Memberships coming, giveaways coming. We're going to give away a Francisco Lindor autograph ball. You heard it from me here first. Breaking news. I have one. It's in my presence. You're going to get it soon, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. But this is the lineup. And I'm not going to nitpick. One thing I will nitpick today is like I said earlier, how's Brandon Nimmo not in the lineup after yesterday? Other than that, Acuna in the 6th spot, I love it. It adds some speed to the bottom of that order. You have speed at the bottom with Azekar and Taylor. You don't have speed with Alvarez. You don't have speed with Vientos. You put a little speed in there. That's called a speed sandwich. I just had a 7th Ave burger with fries here. That's called a speedy sandwich. Speedy Claxton would be proud of the Vientos, Acuna, Alvarez trio. And then, that is, listen, you look at the Dodgers, that is a team where it seems like every guy in that lineup could steal a base. And they move station to station probably better than anyone. If the Mets can make this order balanced, fair and balanced, whatever cable network that slogan is, I think it's CNN maybe, I don't know. This is a lineup top to bottom. The only thing that's going to change in this lineup is Starling Marte. If he does not hit, he is not hitting cleanup ever again. We're not making a short leash. Marte is going to get another month or two, but when the trade deadline comes, if Marte is hitting below the Mendoza line, the Mets are going to have Ronnie Mauricio in here to replace him. And I just think there's so many good options for this team right now. They're in such a good place that I feel good. First 20 wins. And that's the lineup. It'll be David Peterson versus Erod. Not A-Rod, but Erod. Eduardo Rodriguez, the battle of the lefties, battle of the southpaws. That's why you see a righty-heavy lineup for the Mets today. The lefty Juan Soto is hitting well. Smash that thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. It's Tuesday, April 29, 2025. Knicks Pistons tonight. Shout out to Savvy Seats for sending me tonight. Going solo. So check out the content on TikTok, Facebook. Actually, not really much Facebook, but Twitter, YouTube. Appreciate you all for watching, supporting Mets Daily. Let's go, Mets. Mets Diamondbacks tonight. Enjoy the game. Knicks in 5. Knicks win tonight. And we'll talk to you tomorrow on a hump day here from the greatest city in the world, the Big Apple, New York City. Thanks for watching. Mets Daily.